This is LSAT PrepTest 139, Section 3, Passage 1 about Booker T. Wattley and Booker T. Wattley's plan for profitable small farming. It's a low difficulty passage, but the mistakes here are just a bit more subtle. That's what makes it relatively easier overall. Now, this is a social science passage that does one thing. It presents one person's proposal step by step. There is no opposition voice, no saying however critics argue. It's just Wattley's blueprint. And that is exactly what makes it tricky. Students expect a turn that never comes, and they start inventing a conflict that is not on the page. Now, the most important part of this passage is the opening. You want to read this at full speed, but register what it's doing. It's giving you the problem. Agriculture has shifted toward massive, mechanized, debt-heavy production, and that shift is driving small farms into bankruptcy. Then it drops in Wattley. He is an African-American horticulturist who says small farms can still work. And everything after that is him explaining how. If you miss that setup, you're going to treat the rest of the passage like a random list of farming tips, but it's not. Every recommendation Wattley makes is a direct answer to the problem in that opening. Now, the middle of the passage is where you've got most of the content, but it's easy to zone out here. But Wattley is stacking up several specific recommendations, and each one solves a particular problem. He says to grow at least 10 crops, because if you only grow one thing and it fails, you're toast. 10 crops means a year-round cash flow and built-in insurance against a bad season. Then he introduces the Clientele Membership Club, and that is the centerpiece of the whole plan. Customers pay upfront for the right to come to the farm and pick their own produce. And this guarantees the farmer has a market before a single seed goes into the ground. It wipes out harvesting costs because the customers do the picking. It kills distribution costs because there's no middleman, no truck, no supermarket taking a cut. And Wattley gets specific here. He says harvesting eats up half of all production costs. So when customers do that work, the farmer can charge 60% of supermarket prices and still turn a profit. And so that math is the core of the whole proposal. If a question asks why Wattley's plan is supposed to be economically viable, the answer runs through that math. And then the passage shifts to a location. Wattley says the farm needs to be on a hard surfaced road within 40 miles of a city of at least 50,000. He wants a clientele membership club of about 1,000 people, mostly from urban areas. Now he flips the usual phrase farm to market roads and calls them city to farm roads. And so that's telling you the whole direction of his thinking. He's not worried about shipping product out. He's designing a system that pulls consumers in. Then the passage closes with a few more practical requirements like good soil, water, drought-resistant crops, liability insurance. And that is basically just a checklist. You could speed up here. They're just showing you that Wattley has thought through the logistics. Then the last sentence zooms out and says this approach can let small farms be a real alternative to corporate agriculture. Now, the key move here is the membership club and the economic chain it creates. Prepayment removes hard market risk. Self-harvesting cuts production costs in half. Direct sales cut out distribution. So each piece knocks out a cost that normally crushes small farmers. And the hardest questions will test whether you see how these parts lock together. Now, the author's stance here is neutral to maybe positive. The passage is presenting Wattley's ideas with zero pushback, which you could read as being at least mild endorsement, but don't go any further than that. The author is not calling the plan revolutionary or proven or guaranteed to work. They're just reporting it as a credible proposal. Now, the main trap here is picking choices that frame the passage as being a debate between small farming and corporate farming, but there's no debate here. There's no opposing voice. This is just a proposal, not an argument. So any answer that says the author is critiquing industrial agriculture or comparing two systems has gone beyond what the passage is actually doing. Before you hit the questions, check yourself on these three things. First, why does Wattley recommend 10 crops instead of specializing? Second, what 3 costs does the membership club eliminate? And third, what is the connection between the farm's location and the club's success?